What is going on, guys? It is Minnesota Mike back today for another video. We are sitting here in sunny St. Louis Park, Minnesota, just a stone's throw from Target Field and a boulder's throw from CHS Field over in St. Paul. Let's get it going, boys. So the Twins are in a great spot, which feels weird to say due to them not really making any moves to shock the world or get on the front page of the Star Tribune. But what Derek Falvey, Thad Levine, and gang have done is put together a bullpen that quite possibly could be the best in the American League and double that, best in the big leagues, baby. Let's see why. And here's history lesson number one. Everybody gone pitch. It does not matter. It's all about getting depth pieces that are better than depth pieces over there. There's 162 games, 185 days. Everybody going to pitch. People going to get hurt. People going to get sore. People going to get tired. We're going to need Colt Sands. We're going to need Jay Jackson. We're going to need everybody. Let's dive in why. So first move the Twins made this offseason was shipping Jorge Polanco off to Seattle. We got Anthony DeSclafani, also known as Disco, and Justin Topa in the deal. Disco has bounced around back and forth from being a starter reliever. He can long relief, be a little 6-starter option. Also in San Francisco was like a 3-starter. So you know what you're getting out of him. Topa's another power relief arm. Probably will be saying some setup time for us. He's got a good fastball, 97 miles an hour with some run, and also a great sweeper. Can drop it all the way down in the 70s. All right, vibes are up. We've got the Disco ball out here. We're ready to dance, but Disco is ready to pitch. Now let's look at his resume here. Seeing the pitch mix next to his pretty face there pitching, he's pretty reliant on that slider, throwing it 45% of the time, average velocity 87 miles an hour, throws that 93 mile an hour fastball 40% of the time, and then a changeup at 10%, and then sprinkles in that curve at 4%. And then you look at his baseball savant percentile rankings here. Obviously the pitching run value pretty poor as it is, fastball well below average, off speed below average, but breaking ball above average, pretty dang good. That's kind of weird, saying that he's throwing a slider 45% of the time. Odds are his best pitch, probably that breaking ball run value coming a lot from there. But that fastball's right there, 40%. How can the Twins, Pete Mackey, get some leverage behind DeSclafani and his fastball here for the upcoming season? I think that's the key to him having a breakout year. As you see the rest of his pitching percentile rankings, he saw a lot of blue last year. People are hitting the ball hard off him. He wasn't can many guys, not making too many guys whiff, chase, any of those. Expected batting average, expected ERA, all low, but the walk rate incredibly well. So Disco's throwing this ball in the zone. He's got a great slider. How can we get that chase up? Maybe just need to tunnel a little bit better. I'm not a pitching coach. I'm not Pete Mackey, but they see something in Disco, and I'm confident they can probably tap back into that same thing. Because if you see this 2021 season from Disco, we had 2 complete game shutouts, 31 starts, 3.17 ERA, 167.2 innings. I think we can get that out of Anthony. Target Field's not necessarily the easiest park to hit in. If this guy can just keep this ball in the ballpark, keep people whiffing a little bit more, I think we're going to see a big year out of him, especially compared to last one. Next, we've got Justin the Topa-ware Topa. We're calling him the Topa-ware because it sounds like it, and he likes to hold lineups. Just hold them. Stench-free, too. We see the baseball savant here. A lot of red. We love that. And based off the chart, he's got exceptional value here in his just pitching in general and fastball for that 2023 season. His breaking ball and off speed are pretty much right on average. I think Pete Mackey can tap into that as well. We've got some pitchers with some great slide action, and a lot of pitchers on our pen and starters that love working with each other, bouncing ideas off each other. Griffin Jackson's a guy I feel like they just share a couple things. Jackson might learn a couple things about a fastball, and Topa might learn a couple things about a breaking ball. So I think the future is bright. You see all this red. Barrel percentage, 97th percentile. Ground ball percentage, 94th percentile. Hard hit, 67th. Walk percentage, 78th percentile. Average exit velocity, 80th percentile. And then the things that we need to go up on, K, but he's getting a ton of ground balls. The K percentage, that looks better to me, just knowing that he's getting a ground ball. And this guy that broke out in a big way last year, we're just seeing the start of Justin Topa. He was just figuring out how to be good in this league last year. Imagine as he keeps doubling down on these years, pitching good ball. He throws the ball hard, and I'm really excited about this guy. And we'll finally take a look at his pitch mix. He's throwing this fastball 44% of the time. He's a setup man, late inning guy. 3 saves last year as well. He's going to be dropping dick with his best pitches. That's what he's going to try to pump over the plate. You don't got to fool nobody if your pitch is good. So go pump it past him, Justin. And let's get to a point where that slide piece and that change up here are striking guys out as well. And we will have a potential all-star in our hands next year. And for your Minnesota Twins bullpen, your familiar faces, the right-handers, we've got Cole Sands, enter Sandman, Joan, La Flama, Durantula, and then we've got Louis V. Varland, pride of Highland Park. I'm not sure where he's from. I just named a random neighborhood in St. Paul. We got Josh, Sidewinder, just kidding, over the top winder. We've got Brock, Stewart, Griffin Jacks, and Jorge Alcala. We've got a good bunch of righties. I think these guys all have not even hit their ceiling yet. Stu, we got a piece of it. Jacks, we've seen it in flares. Alcala as well. Duran, we know what he can do. Cole Sands, I think the future's up. Louis Varland, I think this guy is just at a Y in his career. Just a Y. I think no matter what, he's going upwards. It's just, are we going to give him this number 3, number 4, number 5 starter? Try to get this guy 150 plus innings, or are we going to just pump this guy into our rotation? Bullpen. Ask him to throw 100 every time he can. I think Louis will be successful no matter what we do with him. It's just this is the year we figure out what direction he's going to go in that Y. And since our boys Disco and Justin the Topa Ware are righties, let's take a look at the other guys we've got here. Looking at some new faces in the top left, we've got Zack Weiss. Shout out to that last name. I don't know him. Wish I was related. UCLA grad, pitched for a few different orgs. Excited to see where he fits in here. I think he's got a lot more upside than people are appearing to see. And a couple other new faces. We've got Jay Jackson in the bottom right. He signed from Toronto last year. Had a decent little 2.12 ERA and 25 appearances. He's going to be a depth option for us. Would love to see him make the big leagues out of camp, but he's going to have to work for it. Also, we got Josh Staumont as well. He's coming off a pretty serious injury/surgery from his time in Kansas City, but he's another guy with upside. If he's going to bounce back, we would love it to be in Minnesota. Pretty much no risk bringing this guy in except for a couple dollars, and if he does well, that he's going to help a really good team win. If he doesn't, we took a chance and it didn't work out so well. Now we'll see what Jay Jackson's got here. 94 right down the dick there. Miguel Andujar, you got to do a little bit more with that. I like Jay Jackson. He found a way to keep that ERA low. Don't really got to ask for much more. If you're not giving up runs, you belong on a team. I think he's a great depth position for us, whether he's pitching in St. Paul a little bit or pitching big leagues all year. I like that ad. Stephen O'Kurt here, lefty. Excited to see what he can do. Next, we're going to dive into the lefties, so let's take a look. So speaking of Stephen O'Kurt, we've got the lefties here. O'Kurt's our newest twin. He was traded for Nick Gordon, G5 yesterday. Sad to see Nick Gordon go. He was a great outfielder / second baseman / shortstop. This is a guy I watched in Cedar Rapids when he was drafted 5th overall way back, I want to say 2014, 15, one of those 2 years. Been watching that guy play his entire career. Really sad to see him go. But at the same time, we were able to get some much needed depth from the left side of the bullpen. Lord knows what would happen. Let's say Cody Funderburg doesn't have a good spring and Thielbar gets hurt. We've got some much needed backup there with O'Kurt, and he adds a little bit of stability in front of Brent Hedrick. And speaking of the devil, here we got Stephen O'Kurt. Little did I know, O'Kurt directly translates to say okay, just in 2003. It's unbelievable. Now is probably the least funny thing I've said in weeks, but let's move on. Based off the Baseball Savant page here, Kurt's got a great breaking ball. Who would have thought? Great expected batting average, average exit velocity. He's nerfing these bats. He's got a good whiff rate, K rate, bad walk rate, bad barrel rate, good hard hit rate, bad ground ball percentage. So that means when he's giving up hits, giving up contact in general, it's usually not on the ground. He's either making guys swing or miss, or they might be barreling this ball up, or hitting this ball slightly in the air, knuckling this thing up a little bit. That might be his issue. See, in 2022, if you check his baseball reference here, he's got only 2 more home runs given up last year, but a 2.98 ERA in 51 innings in 2022 and a 4.45 ERA in 2023. Only 2 more home runs given up in 23, but 12 more earned runs. I guess he pitched 7 more innings in 2023, but still a little bit sharper of an increase in earned runs given up. He gave up 16 more hits in those 7 innings this year, so that's not what you want to see. It means that probably guys got away with a little bit of just some gap shots, or just running into his fastball. As you see, his fastball run value was a -8 last year. That probably means that he's not as efficient with that, and guys are lining up into it. It's a common problem with lefties, especially lefty relievers, and given the new rules where guys can't be taken out of the game the same as they used to, they're going to run into some righties and some guys that can do damage against their fastball. And Thielbar's a tough guy to compare him to, because Thielbar might have the strangest career of all time. Obviously, I remember him starting up with the Twins when I was just in middle school, early high school, and then bouncing all the way back in 2020 with us. What a story it's been for Thielbar. Love watching him play. The Randolph, Minnesota grad, played with a buddy who went to school there. This guy's a legend. Super small school, came up, remembers all these things about the Twins, growing up watching them, and finally was a part of ending that 18-game playoff losing streak. We all love Caleb Thielbar. I hope he sticks around as long as he can. Again, he was effective last year out of the pen, another 3.23 ERA, specializing against lefties, but still finds a way to pitch well against righties every few years. I love the less than 1 whip. Obviously, we're going to get more innings out of him this year. Got to keep him healthy, but 36 games still more than valuable for us. And Baseball Savant, I guess they kind of struggled. He didn't have enough of a sample for them to really compare him against others. But based off what we had, he had incredible K stuff and incredible walk stuff, kept his ERA, and kept his expected batting average low. I want to see a full year out of Caleb again. I think he's a savvy, smart, intelligent vet, and I think he's going to keep doing his thing in 2024. And briefly, we'll take a look at upside personified Cody Funderburg. He's the 27-year-old left-handed pitcher for us. Threw 11 innings at the end, and I believe found a place in that Twins playoff roster for us down the stretch. Dude was rock solid, .075 ERA. Only time he gave up a run is when we threw him into the fire and expected him to close out a game against, I want to say, Cleveland or someone real good down the stretch. He's like second time pitching ever. He's a long monster, 81 81st percentile in extension. Saw good numbers with expected ERA, expected batting average, whiff, K, barrel, ground ball. Doesn't throw that hard, but still I think he can throw even harder. And based off his entire resume to date, the second he stopped being a starter is the second he started dominating dudes. I think Fundy is going to be a dude that's going to be on our roster or being a rock solid left-hander in the major leagues for the next 10 years. And I'll briefly take a look at Brent Hedrick. Don't let those numbers fool you. Did not pitch incredibly well last year in Minnesota. Saw good minor league stats. Pitched well in St. Paul, to my belief. Didn't have very good, obviously, baseball savant. That fastball velocity probably needs to come up. Brent's in that same kind of age range as Cody Funderburg, but look at that extension. That's a 772 as well. Brent Hedrick's 6'6", 235 pounds. I'm going to give left-handed pitchers a shot who do that. He's not going to be throwing 100 like Randy Johnson, but the closer you can get to the plate, the faster that's going to look. It's just, it's a common illusion, folks. I would love to see Brent Hedrick. If he can put together a good spring, put together a good start of the year in St. Paul, I think he's going to be a contributor to a major league roster as well in the upcoming seasons. And we've got some more Stephen O'Kurt highlights here. He's going to come in, make Eddie Rosario's sword. That's beautiful. We've seen that plenty of times. We love Eddie in Minnesota. He's going to saw Josh Bell off here. That's what I'm excited about. Against right-handed hitters, get creative. These guys, if you can make a dude be late on a slider and he's sawing this boy off and it's inside, what else can I say? And next we got some bullpen looks here for Zack Weiss. I believe this is the UCLA alumni game. Don't ask how I found these stats. He doesn't have too much highlights in the big show. But it's another guy that's a big boy, going to see some extension. I saw him somewhere saying he was like the Israeli slider craftsman. I think that's his nickname, so I'm going to look for that. Now, this is just hilarious. I'm going to just share this. This is how I found that name. Israel Slider King, Zack Weiss. We share a last name. I did not have the same slider or the Israel in me, but this guy's a great pitcher. I'm going to put the link to this video in the bio. I don't know this guy, but it's funny, and actually the video is pretty sick. So, and now it is time for the final prediction for your 2024 Minnesota Twins bullpen. We're going to assume the Twins are carrying 13 pitchers, 5 of those being starters, so we're going to leave 8 bullpen options today. And just so there's no confusion, this is my full rotation prediction as well. We've got Pablo Lopez being our ace, Bailey Ober there at 2, Joe Ryan at 3, the experience, and then we've got Paddock, and then Disco and Louis Varland. I think both those 3 through 5 basically is fluctuating on who's pitching well. We're just got a rotation here. We're trying to win every day. I think all these pitchers aren't their best or just as good as one of another. Just need Disco or Varland just to be consistent, and we'll see what happens. So, ladies and gents, we'll start with the final prediction here. We're going to lead off with that long relief / 6th starter option. This one will not come as a surprise, but we've got a tie between Louis Varland and Anthony DeSclafani. It really just depends who's pitching, who's hot. Both these guys are experienced. Louis obviously being on the younger side, pitching parts of the last 2 seasons or just last season, and Disco obviously being a vet in this league. If Varland's hot, he's our guy. If Disco's sturdy, he's our guy as well. So let's see how these guys do. They're gonna have to duke it out in spring training, but both these guys are good enough to be on a major league roster and are especially going to be on ours. It just depends what role they fit into. And we will continue making our way through the predictions. I'm going to slide in both our lefties for this rotation in here. We've got Stephen O'Kurt. We've got Caleb Thielbar. I think this could look different. Cody Funderburk is in a position where he can put in a ton of pressure on other guys competing for other spots. If, let's say, Thielbar, O'Kurt gets hurt or has a terrible spring training, that'll open up a spot for Funderburk to come kick ass and take someone else's job. So I think it could look completely different just based off what we see once Twins pitchers report to Lee County, Fort Myers, Florida. And for 2 more middle relief arms, I think they, no matter what, will have Brock Stewart in here. I think he's more of a setup man. He throws the ball 100 miles an hour. Total dominant transformation of a career last year. And then in terms of just pure stuff, Alcala's got it. I think Jorge is going to be in this middle relief type window, throwing our 6th innings, 7th innings. He also can throw hard, got good pitch mix. It's just he runs into barrels every once in a while. I think if he has a good spring training, he's going to be back here. I think his stuff is better than guys like Stallmont, Weiss, Jackson, a few other guys that we brought in. But the inconsistency is worse than a lot of those guys. So if Jorge can be his best all the time or as much as possible, I think he's going to be a very, very good relief pitcher in this league. And for our 7th and 8th inning, we're going to run out there with Justin Topa and Griffin Jacks. Jacks, I think it's depends on who's at their best between Brock Stewart and a few other guys, or whether you want to put Thielbar or O'Kurt out there, maybe if there's a lefty or a couple lefties coming up in a row. But Topa's that guy. He's got knockout stuff. Same with Griffin Jacks. Griffin Jacks is a great clubhouse guy as well, teaching a lot of guys something, and always got time to help work with other guys. These are both 2 dudes who know what it takes to pitch at this level, knows they need to give their best stuff every single time, and they're trying to throw as little amount of pitches as possible. So, and they're good at doing that, so we're going to have them both as our setup men. And the closer is going to be Jhoan Duran. Knowing Jhoan, he's going to be coming for more this year. He's pumping 104, 105 with the fastball, pumping 101 with the splinker. This dude's nasty. He's been nasty. Traded for Eduardo Escobar way back in 2017. Hosted him when he was part of the Colonels. He's been like this for a long time, and he's getting Cy Young votes this year. Just watch. I'm really excited about Jhoan. Why wouldn't you guys? And we'll go down the line right now. We've got long relief, emergency starter, whoever's playing worse between Dave Sclafani and Louis Varland. Lefty specialist Stephen O'Kurt, unless Funderburg's dominating. Middle relief / lefty specialist Caleb Thielbar. And some power middle relief out of Brock Stewart. Some more bang for buck from Jorge Alcala. And then 2 setup lords. We've got Griffin Jacks and Justin Topa. And then we'll close these ball games with the Durantula, Jhoan Duran. I can't be more excited about this bullpen. We're gonna have guys coming up out of AAA being damn good. Like I said, I'm not even including Jay Jackson, Stallmont, Cole Sands, Cody Funderburk, just a bunch of guys. I mean, you look at our lefties here, and then you look at our righties as well. We couldn't find a home. We've got Zack Weiss without a home, Jay Jackson, Winder, Stallmont, and many more names. We're going to have plenty to work with in the bullpen this year, and Twins fans alike should be excited. Let's go. Thanks for watching, and this has been Minnesota Mike. Enjoy the rest of your day.